Guest. I'd like to thank the speaker for her very interesting speech this afternoon on New York. I'm sure it's a subject that we could all relate to, either whether we've already been or whether we're perhaps thinking of going in the future. And the fact that she made the full use of all the time available, all 8 minutes. So the opening, did she grab us? Well, the question, potentially, yes, have you been to New York? But I don't think she actually waited to see, or the speaker waited to see if there was any rapport with the audience. Perhaps it maybe a bit slow switching on. So maybe a bit of a pause would have helped. Anyway, obviously the speaker was very familiar with the subject, so it was a very easy subject to talk on. She was very relaxed about it. She was quite confident in the way she gathered herself, or the speaker gathered herself and the lectern. And the construction, well, it's free flowing, should I say. It went from the aspects of how you might get there, which airport you go to, the geography of New York, the attractions of New York, and then finishing out with the advice of what the best things to do were. I'll speak about the conclusion a little bit more later on in the speech. So the speaker obviously meant everything that she was saying. Her vocabulary was appropriate to the speech, and we had several word pictures throughout the speech. And I'll come back to the word pictures again a bit later on. Humour, yes, the speech had humour. It was quite appropriate to the speech, and it kept the audience involved throughout the speech. So the presentation then, well, the voice was clear, the pace was relaxed and easy to go, but with the presentation and the pace, I thought perhaps there could have been a bit more variation. Maybe there should have been some pauses. Perhaps the speaker at times wasn't quite sure what she was going to say next. And it wouldn't have done any harm to actually pause and gather your thoughts together before you carry on, because I think that would have helped in the continuity of the speech. The gestures, there were several gestures, some more appropriate than others, some places where there might have been gestures. For instance, when we had Broadway, we could have gone Broadway, but generally there were plenty of gestures throughout the speech. So coming on to other issues about the speech, I mentioned the pauses after the question at the beginning. I'm not even quite sure how you're going to continue with the speech, so pausing if we're not sure. But coming on to the conclusion, I thought the conclusion could have been a bit more developed. It seemed to be just a matter of ask the hotel and make sure you stay central. I thought perhaps the speaker could have included any research that they did before they decided to go to New York. Perhaps what was their objective out of it, and how you actually researched it for information report, and backing that up with the local information that you actually get when you arrive there. So I thought that could have been the advice. And then actually finishing on saying, what a great place it was, what a fantastic time they had there, and wishing that if you go, you'll have an equally entertaining time. But there were lots of positives in the speech, weren't there? The speaker obviously knew what she was saying. The audience were interested in the speech. They were with the speaker all the way. But it was a very sort of relaxed speech. It was easy to listen to. There was nothing complicated about it. We could all understand the speech. So I would compliment the speaker on many aspects about the speech, and the fact that it was so informative. We had plenty of advice. We all know about New York now. We all know about what it's like when it's snowing in Central Park. But then that is one of the places where we could have actually enhanced the word pictures. Some of the word pictures were there but they weren't built as large as they could have been. They could have been developed further, and yet we had the full 8 minutes. Well done, Speaker. Look forward to hearing from you again.